Move to Philly. Let's move to Philly because we got some Philly frauds going on right now. Okay, they are the Philadelphia frauds. Bye, Eagles, bye. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. You're an Eagles fan. Like, obviously, you are disgusted with the performance that was put out there last night against the Buccaneers. But are you surprised? Because I'm, not surprised at all, actually. And it's the very reason I took the Bucs to win this game. I didn't really think it was going to be a competitive game to begin with. Why am I supposed to think the Eagles turn things around when they haven't done it in the last, 4 games of the regular season? Completely imploded. And I think a ton of that has to do with Nick Sirianni. Look, I know we talked about the whole A.J. Brown speaking out on his coach, saying it's not his coach's fault, it's the players' fault. But, at some point, you got to take accountability. And at some point, it's your coach may suck. Obviously, he's not. He's a talented coach. He made them 10-1. Their start to the season was phenomenal. People talking about Super Bowl runs for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now Philadelphia frauds. It's how does something implode that quickly, that deeply like that? I think it's karma, and here's why.
Hey, I don't hear anymore. See ya.
That man, with those arrogant comments, may very well ruined the Eagles' chances of ever making it past anything, okay? Arrowhead Stadium, yelling that. Don't forget who you are, Nick Sirianni. You haven't proved a ton yet, all right? And he had a very talented team at that time. And it was a huge road win over Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. Probably more talented than the Eagles, let me tell you. But the Eagles were getting it done. And arrogance, cockiness, being a douche, it's going to come back to bite you. And I think that's exactly what happened to Nick Sirianni. It's the way of the world. And somehow people find a way to get what's coming for them. And it happens at the worst moments, at the worst times, and that was the downfall of the Philadelphia Eagles. And it might very well be Nick Sirianni's fault as to why Jason Kelce is retiring. Now, of course, he probably had this retirement planned. I mean, he has been a vet in this league, but the only way it could have been fair for Jason Kelce to end his phenomenal career in Philadelphia would have been with a ring. And it looked very, very likely, and it's what happened? And I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it all begins with your head coach, Nick Sirianni, and he is a cocky man who hopefully got humbled in these last couple of weeks. I don't know what his future looks like, but if he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, I think I would. I don't even know what I would do, because it's one thing to be able to talk the talk, but when you can't walk the walk after you talk that talk, it's you're a fraud. And he's got a team of a bunch of frauds. And he's got a team with a ton of talent, which makes it even sadder as an outside football fan. I do not like the Eagles. And I think a big reason of that is because Sirianni let them Chiefs fans hear it, and he heard it in the end, right? I mean, what team is still plowing through the NFL right now? Not the Eagles. Chiefs are. They made it past this wild card round. They're going into the divisional round. So you got no place to talk anymore, and you just got silenced. Just completely silenced by a Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers. Jalen Hurts, light years more talented than Baker Mayfield. Just the facts. A.J. Brown, obviously injured, talented. That entire team, very talented. It is so disappointing to see how they've ended this. I don't like the Eagles, but I like Eagles players, and I like talented players who are humble. First off, if you take Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and put them together, they are two completely different people. There's no way in the world I can believe that Jalen Hurts truly has respect for Nick Sirianni after the things that he has done in his coaching career in Philadelphia. Especially words that he said leaving Arrowhead Stadium in that clip. There's a moment of Nick Sirianni talking trash on the field and Jalen Hurts pulling him back Coach, be better. It should be the other way around. I think that's a big reason as to why we're in the situation we're in if you're an Eagles fan. It's that's the problem. Problem lies within the head coach, and not many people want to talk about that. You want to blame it on players, you want to blame it on Jalen Hurts, that's fine. It's Nick Sirianni all the way, baby. He is the problem. And I guarantee you he's not going anywhere because he still has a talented team to work with. It's like he is the issue. This is what he had to say following the loss last night.
Obviously, we were in a big slide, and anytime that's the case, I always look at myself first, and I didn't do a good enough job, and obviously we lost 5 of the last 6, and lost today, and it's almost like you couldn't get out of the rut we couldn't get out the rut we're in, and that's all of us. We'll all have to look ourselves in the mirror and accept that, and just find answers, find solutions. But obviously, when you start 10-1, and then you get into what happened for us. Obviously, that the expectations were high. Expectations were even higher when we started off 10-1, and we fell into a skid. So I'll look at everything. I'll look at obviously the play calling. I'll look at the scheme. I'll look at practices. I'll look at everything that we're doing.
What we also have to talk about here is like the stupidity of the Eagles, which we spoke about a couple weeks ago when they took the play calling away from Sean Desai, defensive coordinator, handed it to Matt Patricia with nothing to show for a defense that could not stop the run or rush the passer the way it did 1 year ago in the slightest. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles defense, under Matt Patricia, when we heard of that move, it was like, why are the Eagles in panic mode right now? They got 10 wins on the year. They have basically clinched a playoff spot already with a lot to go still. Why are they in panic mode? It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. None of it continues to make sense. We are missing a puzzle piece here. Like, there is something serious that happened in that locker room. I believe it. I absolutely believe something went down in that locker room. I think it all lies with Nick Sirianni. His players back him because that's the type of guys they are. They're humble, they're respectful, and that's their head coach. They got to respect him. That's the hierarchy of the NFL. You got to respect your head coach. But something went down, and from the moment of these from these coordinating moves, it was a panic mode for Philadelphia where it didn't need to be, and it has compromised this team for the rest of the year. Plus, to the NFL, it was working under Sean Desai, defensive coordinator. Why are you taking the defensive play calling away from him and moving it to Matt Patricia, and then that's just, you implode defensively. Any day you're letting up over 20 points to the New York Giants or dropping to the Arizona Cardinals, it's like, yeah, maybe your offense wasn't on completely, but your defense should not have had a problem with those two teams. And that is a Matt Patricia defense, and he could not stop the run or rush the passer in any way, shape, or form the way we saw compared to last year when they made it into the Super Bowl. Obviously, they lost the Super Bowl, but you make it there, that's a huge accomplishment. And they weren't that different of a team. Very talented. Jalen Hurts, in the MVP conversations at the beginning of the season. What's going on in Philly? Just doesn't make any sense. It stumps me to my core. And Eagles fans, I'm sure, as well. It's like now it's a true panic mode. What the hell do they do now? Are they out with Nick Sirianni? Is he going to get fired and booted? What does that look like? Matt Patricia? He's got to be booted, right? What do you do if you are the Philadelphia Eagles? So many questions and a complete and utter downfall in just a few weeks. It was literally the most colossal collapse in Philadelphia sports history. And, hey, you're a Giants fan. You're having a hell of a week so far. Cowboys and Eagles got embarrassed. Right? It's damn. Couldn't ask for better if you were a New York Giants fan or a New York sports fan. But it's Philadelphia sports implosion.